Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey, how do you do there, scrappers? It's Tom from the iScrap app, and today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. All notice this was pre-recorded. We are taking questions, but I will not be answering them live today. Schedule's just conflicted. So some of the information is going to be off of presumptions, but of course I'm going to give you what's going on with the market. But before I get into what is going on with the markets, don't forget to subscribe and like to our YouTube page and our videos. And if you're looking to get early access to our videos, we have member-only videos. In fact, I'm getting ready to film a few in a little while. They're just going to give you the ability to learn more about the scrap markets from my perspective as a scrapyard owner who talks to lots of other scrapyard executives throughout the year. That's going to be able to give you some insider data and knowledge that sometimes we don't post here on our general videos. So without further ado, what's going on with the markets? Well, let's just give a big round of applause, okay? Let's just give a round of applause right now to copper prices, okay? We've seen copper prices in the month of September rally what'll end up being up between 4.5% and 5%. And that is just such great news. So, of course, back in June, July, we had the tariff talk, which blew the prices up and out of the water. But what we're seeing now is a stabilization, and we're seeing international prices being on par with domestic prices, and that is a win, scrappers. So we're seeing these prices at really high levels. And I'm just going to read a quick blurb from one of the articles that we are going to post and talk about over the last few weeks that we read. This is from Bloomberg. Copper is set for its biggest monthly gain in a year, up nearly 5% in September, hovering just under a 15-month high. So as we record today, the day before, we have seen copper markets down a little bit, but these still are the highest increases that we've seen in those 16 months on an international level. So before you say, Tom, the prices went up 25% in July, I'm talking international, right? Directionally. We're talking directionally, folks. So what triggered these copper prices increasing? Well, another article we read. This is from mining.com. Copper rose 4.5% in September, sitting near a 16-month high, despite weak Chinese manufacturing data. Analysts warn of the largest copper supply deficit since 2004 if any disruptions continue to persist, fueling bullish momentum. So last week we talked about the horribleness that happened with the mine that collapsed from the mudslides and how that really buoyed the prices to the point that we're seeing them now. But we're also seeing very, very strong demand. And because of that strong demand for AI build-outs, lack of infrastructure on electrical side, we're going to continue to see these markets climbing and stabilizing. So for the first time in many years, my recommendation on your scrap is to sell everything that you have. Copper, aluminum, brass, cats, carbide, steel, stainless, anything that you have, I do recommend getting rid of right now. Now, I know you're not going to get some of the highest prices that you would have liked on some of the materials, but let me explain my logic right now. We're probably in the middle of the government having a bit of a disruption, which was scheduled to happen at midnight, not having a budget moving forward. We're in the middle of interest rate cuts. We're in the middle of a recalibration of electrical needs and wants. The demand on the grid is increasing. And we're really starting to see where the market is shaping itself and pushing forward. For instance, I've recommended holding stainless steel for over a year and a half. And today I'm recommending you sell stainless because when I see stainless and nickel prices just hovering flat-lined for the last year plus, where's the upside? I don't see demand. I don't see something coming in the pipeline from all of the talk through the first 8-9 months of this administration that's going to increase the nickel demand. So I don't see that increase there. So why are we going to continue to hold our metals? In fact, I was holding on to a couple of things just in case, and I unloaded everything as well. So I'm not sitting on any materials, and I advise that you don't either. Right now, we're seeing strong prices on non-ferrous, aluminum, very strong week over week, month over month, and year over year, all up. Copper, continued upside pricing, strong market demands. Spreads have stabilized inside of the scrap world, which is so incredibly key. I've talked about this for years. When you have really large price increases, then you really have large spreads and margins that happen because of it. Because sometimes there's political news or there's other type of economic news that isn't actually the supply side news. It's more of a trading play. So when that happens, it's hard to go and buy copper and just think, oh, prices are going up. You know, sometimes the prices go up, but the spreads go up as well, like you saw back in July with the tariffs when everyone was saying, you know, copper $6 a pound. Why are the prices in the $4 range? And that was because of the tariffs and the international markets pulling them down. But moving forward, I still do recommend selling all of your materials, even as a bit of a reset. You know, we're finishing up the third quarter. We're starting the fourth quarter and going into the fourth quarter. What I've traditionally seen is a lot of profit taking. You have multiple holidays in all types of religions all over the world. That disrupts economic flows. At the end of the year, of course, we have Christmas, New Year's, all of those interrupt economic flows. So these are going to be things that start to pull back on the markets. And we might see little pullbacks as companies liquidate some of their positions, get rid of some of their portfolios, whether it's physical copper or stock side of things. Generally, the fourth quarter is a little bit of a slower drag. We expect that to hit the commodities markets as well. Now, let's talk about some more good news and pair up another C metal with copper. Let's talk about carbide hitting all-time record highs. Now, the team over at rrcarbide.com, one of our affiliates, has been quoting all types of machinists, large processors, and we're seeing such great prices. In the last few months, we've seen prices rise $4 to $5 per pound. You heard me correctly, not 40 to 50 cents, $4 to $5 per pound price increases on the carbide and tungsten-based alloy side of things. So if you have ever come across it, if you're holding it, now is one of, if not the best time to sell. And similar to the team at RR Cats, we hold our prices, we provide free shipping, and we give you bins. Now, why are the carbide prices so high? Well, industrial and manufacturing demand continues to remain at very strong levels economically and domestically here in the United States. As more production comes from overseas back into the country, you're going to need more of these metals to be able to have more cutting wheels. You see the oil, gas, and coal industries expanding. They're going to need to be able to line many of their tools with tungsten. The demand for carbide does not look to be going down. So the carbide business is growing. The prices are going up. And if you're looking to figure out what's going on with the markets, go to rrcarbide.com today. Contact one of our team members to get a quote and learn about other types of materials that you may have or may not know about that are worth different types of values. Now, aluminum week over week, like I said, relatively tame, nothing to really brag home about. We do have more bad news on the steel front. Steel continues its unbelievable decline with prices dropping again by $10 per ton. Now, scrappers, if I was going to give you any piece of advice, if you live or go to a steel shredding facility, that is how you may be able to maximize your pricing right now. As I sell material across the country, the steel shredders that we sell into that actually have the equipment on site and their premises, they have higher prices where other scrap yards that are moving it don't have that price flexibility right now, such as Rockaway Recycling. We dropped our light iron price below $100 per ton, which hasn't happened in many years, just showing that the prices are off, the demand is down, and steel production on the iron ore side internationally is at a surplus. I read an article recently talking about the Chinese having so much steel in stock right now, they don't know what to do with it, especially with the tariff problems that are continuing to rear their ugly face between the United States and China as they continue to work out their deals. So, where else are we going to go? We had great news on Carbide. Great news on copper. Let's make it 3 C's worth of great news, and that's Catalytic Converters. This is sponsored by the team over at rrcats.com, offering free shipping on all OEM catalytic converters, price lock guarantees for 10 business days, and of course, backed by Rockaway Recycling. Our team has been doing this for many years, and we appreciate your business if you've sold to us. Now, Catalytic Converters have seen more good news with platinum prices yesterday hitting multi-year highs. I believe it was some of the highest prices that we saw in about 10 or 12 years on platinum, about 10% off from their all-time record highs. Now, I don't think that that's off of demand as much as it is a trading play or a hedge for some private equity, some stock traders to pair up with gold prices, which have also continued to stay at and hit record high pricing. So I think some investors put a lot of money into gold and they said, you know, we can't put all of our eggs into this golden basket. Let's find this silvery metal called platinum, which also has high value. And of course, because of the jewelry side of things and the catalyst side of things, it makes it a little more attractive. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that same flow into rhodium, which would really be a huge price driver. But over at rrcats.com, we are seeing and giving some of the highest quotes that we have since 2023. So 2-year highs in cat prices is a great thing to see. So if you have cats that you've been holding, this is also one of those sell all time periods that I recommend documenting and getting your cats ready to send over to rrcats.com today. Now, other markets all around, we see strong markets on the stock side of things. We see low oil and gas prices. So that has certainly contributed to transportation costs remaining decreased. But moving forward into the fourth quarter, I do expect to see solid, stable prices. And I do continue to recommend selling anything that you've been holding, even stainless steel products. So scrappers, today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. This was pre-recorded, but please, if you had questions along the way, we're going to answer those either throughout the week or next week. So let us know what they are. My name is Tom Buchel from Rockaway Recycling, the iScrap app. Until next week, I'll scrap you later.